Welcome to the deep dive. You're here because, well, you want to get smart on something specific fast. We cut through the noise.
Exactly. We dive into the sources so you get the core information.
And today we're focusing on the MECPOW X4 Pro 40W laser cutter, basically figuring out what makes this thing tick.
Right.
And just quickly, if you're listening and thinking this might be the tool for you, we've put a purchase link right there in the description. Easy access if you want to explore that creative potential.
Good point.
Yeah.
So where do we start? What's the big headline with this machine?
Well, the sources immediately point to the power, right? It's 40 watts. They call it industrial grade.
Yeah, and that translates to some serious cutting ability. The specs mention cutting 18 millimeter cherry wood in a single pass
18 millimeter, wow.
and 15 millimeter acrylic, even 0.1 millimeter stainless steel. Again, one pass. That's, pretty substantial for demanding materials.
Okay, so definitely not just for like thin craft materials. This is for more robust projects.
Precisely. But it's not just about the raw power. The speed seems important too. Engraving speed up to 30,000 millimeters per minute.
Which is fast, right? Compared to others.
Considerably faster, yeah, than a lot of standard diode lasers. So you're saving time, basically, without losing the detail. That's the claim.
Efficiency. And what about the laser itself? There's mention of the spot size, 0.1 by 0.15 millimeters. Why that specific size?
Well, the documentation suggests it's kind of optimized. It's a balance, designed for those deeper cuts we mentioned, and also for maintaining speed when engraving thicker materials. A slightly wider beam can help remove material faster in those cases.
Okay, makes sense. Power and speed. But with lasers, safety is always a huge concern.
Absolutely critical. And it seems like a major focus here. The X4 Pro has this full enclosure.
Right, the red transparent cover.
And the big benefit is it blocks the harmful laser light. So you don't necessarily need safety glasses during operation. Plus, it's got an FDA Class 1 certification.
Which basically means it's considered safe under normal use because the laser is contained.
Exactly. But they don't stop there. There's like a whole safety system layered on top.
Oh yeah, like what?
Things like a safety lock, sensors for flame and tilt so it stops automatically if it detects fire or gets knocked.
Okay, that's smart.
Uh-huh. And an emergency stop button, the big red one for immediate halt, plus limit switches to keep everything within the working area. It feels very thorough.
Definitely sounds like safety was a priority. Now, what about getting precise results? I thought something about a camera.
Yeah, a built-in camera. This is really useful for alignment. You can see your material in the software and place your design exactly where you want it. Super helpful for complex shapes or if you're doing repeat jobs.
Cuts down on setup time and errors, I bet.
For sure. And there's also integrated air assist.
What does that do exactly?
It blows a stream of air right at the point where the laser hits the material. This clears away smoke and debris.
So keeps the lens cleaner.
Exactly. Keeps the lens clean, which means consistent power, and it also helps minimize those unsightly burn marks on the material. Cleaner finish overall.
And I think I saw an optional smoke purifier mentioned too for the workspace air quality.
Yeah, the MECPOW P150. Good option if you're doing a lot of engraving or cutting materials that produce more fumes. Shows they're thinking about the user environment.
Seems like it. What about add-ons? Any accessories to enhance it?
Yep, a few useful ones. There's the H44 laser honeycomb bed that lifts the material off the base, reduces burns on the back, and helps airflow. Generally improves cut quality.
Okay. Useful for cutting through materials.
Definitely. And then for curved stuff, there's the G3 Pro rotary roller that lets you engrave things like tumblers, glasses, cylindrical objects.
Expands the possibilities quite a bit.
And even a G5 claw disc for holding down irregular items. So, yeah, quite versatile in terms of what you can work with.
It really sounds like it can handle a lot. Is it easy to use? Software compatibility?
It's pretty user-friendly in that regard. It works with the big names in laser software, Lightburn, Laser GRBL, MKS Laser.
So people likely already know how to use one of those.
Probably. And it supports Windows, Mac, Linux, even Android and iOS for some functions. So very broad compatibility. Oh, and offline mode is neat too. You can load your job onto the machine and run it without needing the computer connected the whole time. Good for long jobs or if your connection isn't stable.
Nice convenience feature. Okay, so let's kind of wrap this up. Why choose this specific model, the X4 Pro 40W?
Well, the main draw is definitely that stronger 40W laser for series cutting tasks on thicker materials. If you need that industrial-grade power, it's a clear step up from, say, a 20 or 22W model.
Right, power first.
Then you got the comprehensive safety features, the smart stuff like the camera for precision, the speed for efficiency. It all bundles together.
And it seems ready for bigger projects, maybe even small-scale production, given the workspace and speed.
The sources suggest that, yeah, it's built for performance. It is worth noting, though, the sources mention that while the 40W is optimized for cutting, if someone needed ultra-fine engraving detail, the lower power 22W model might actually be better suited for that specific niche. Something to consider based on your MEG use case.
Good distinction. So power for cutting, maybe slightly less fine detail than a lower power dedicated engraver, but much more versatile overall.
That seems to be the takeaway.
All right, so this deep dive gave us a pretty solid picture. Powerful, safe, precise, versatile, a real shortcut to understanding the MECPOW X4 Pro 40W. Hopefully you listening picked up on some key capabilities.
Yeah, those aha moments.
Exactly. So the final thought to leave you with is, imagine the possibilities. What could you create or achieve with this level of creative power and precision at your fingertips?
Lots to think about there.
Indeed. And remember, if you want to explore it further, that purchase link for the MECPOW X4 Pro 40W is waiting in the description.